my heart, I've got this everlasting light. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's what I'm living for.
Aloha, everyone. Aloha. I'm Reverend Rita. This is Reverend Patrick. You're at Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai, where we practice the science of mind and spirit. And we're back. Yes, we are back. And that being said, the first thing we want to do is thank everyone that stepped up for us last week. Reverend Diane, thank you so much. Yay. Dr. Peggy, thank you so much. Thank you for, it was just so nice to know that we had leadership here and everybody coming together while we were away. And that's what we want. That's what we want to build here is community. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we were watching you live.
Yeah, we were.
Live. It's like the parents go, It was like a tennis match.
There is something about watching it and having no control.
I'm telling you. You leave 3 times a year. There's 4 after 4 years. There's a bit of a...
Okay, so anyway, so we want to just say a few things that are happening today since Michelle LeMay is not here. She's out working and expressing spirit somewhere else. And we send her love when she watches this later. But this afternoon, right after service, is Rap with the Revs.
There we go. That's what RRPT. Okay, so Rap with the Revs is right after service. But the good thing about it, it's not just all about us, which you know that would be not even close to what I would want to do. It's really about our community and us coming together. And we started this, it's once a month. And we come together, and it's just kind of know where our journey has led us to here. It's not about talking about science of mind necessarily, it's just what brought us all together after all this time. And I really urge you, even if you think you know everyone, go to Rap with the Revs. I think you'll find out some surprises. I mean, we're letting it all go. So come right afterwards, we'll have some fellowship, and then we have a taste of theater. Not for you, but for the teens. You've heard about it, so we're starting an outreach program. We're so grateful because we have what we call a seed planting to make this happen. So regardless when it happens, it's happening this Wednesday at
4 to 6 p.m. If you know any teens, please send them our way. We would prefer they call first so we know they're coming, but
yes.
If they show up, that'll be great too.
Right.
Okay. The other thing that's happening, very important, is Wednesday, October 18th, and this is all in your program, so please take your program out, make sure to look at it. I'm not going to say all the details, but basically we are having our bi-monthly healing circle. And what this is a chance for us to come together with the practitioners and ministers of the center and have a healing experience. For anything that you're experiencing in your life where you would like to experience something else, this is a place to come to reveal the truth of yourself. So it's an hour-long ceremony that we do, and it's really beautiful. So we invite you all to come and join our practitioners and
if
ministers.
you don't mind, I think this would be a good time to jump in about healing. We're a healing and a teaching center. Sometimes we forget that we are healers here, all of us. And that's what we're really doing here. And I think that when we have a healing, if we don't tell one another, then everyone thinks that they're living in a non-healing environment, and it's not true. Today I have a demonstration with our brother over here, Tommy, his brother, just getting right to the point. Stage 4, stage 3, nada. That's all about the healing power of what's going on here. His brother, Chris, is completely healed, and as they say, there is no big or small in the mind that maketh all. So there you go.
It's perfect. Gratitude.
There you go,
So also we have something called the Spiritual Living Circles that happens twice a month here on the island, once in Kalaheo and once in Princeville with Rebecca DeRuse in Kalaheo and Anna Myers in Princeville. Look at your program for the times if you live in those areas. It's a chance to come together. They look at an article in the Science of Mind magazine, which is downloadable. And they talk about it, and they bring it into their lives. And that is what that is. And what else?
And flying solo, let's fly solo. Who's ever been to a flying solo performance here at CIS? Yes. Yes, absolutely. We have one October 20th. It's in your program. It is 4 wonderful, courageous people who have come together to just give a little snippet, a 10-minute snippet of your life. Can you imagine that? Telling your life in 10 minutes? Think about it. But mostly be here and support them. It's at 7 o'clock. It's free, and it includes a reception. So please be here and support these foursome. And Love the One You're With is a wonderful workshop that Rita and I have been so excited to do. We've been waiting a couple of years to do it. And I know in the 60s it meant something completely different. But this one absolutely... Oh, how we laugh because we know. But you know, with the love, the one you're with, you start here, and then you work out. What kind of partner are you? What kind of relationship? And we have got some wonderful, wonderful things planned for that night. So look in your program, sign-up sheet in the back.
And thanks to Michelle LeMay and Deborah Valentina, we will have a women's clothing swap this month. So it's a potluck clothing swap at the end of the month. Please make sure to come and enjoy that. If you are a woman, well, yes. You guys have to plan your own. And next week is the women and men's group after service. And that is about it, right?
Yes, that is it.
I'll put my glass down. Okay, so we have some special news. Don't we?
We do.
I guess.
I'm like going,
While
maybe
we
it's
were
something
away,
I don't know.
While we were away, something very special happened. And Reverend Diane, will you come up? Yeah. So Reverend Diane was, after going through a process that we each, as ministers, have to go to after we receive our licenses, she was ordained. And yes. And I want to tell you a little bit about what this means. Basically, that CSL International, the home organization, gives us a path that we have to follow, the path to ordination. And it's a 3-year process after we've received our licenses, and we have to fulfill certain hours, we have to fulfill certain requirements, milestones, we have to fulfill them and fill out reports every year and all of that. And she's done that, and then after that, that's not enough. We have to stand in with a panel of other ordained ministers, 3 of them to be exact, and they get to question us about our consciousness and what we're doing with our ministries and all of that good stuff, and then they get to decide whether they think that we should be ordained at this time. And Diane fulfilled all those requirements, and what's really exciting about it was that this happened during our ministerial conference that we went on. There was a panel there that did this for her by Zoom, so that was really very wonderful of them and gracious. And they were all very pleased and really loved her, and she is ordained. And, and what this means is when we are ordained as ministers, what it means is that we've chosen ministry for life. I think they do this like in other religions too. It's not just that you just decided to become something, you've decided that this is your lifelong path. And so for us, I'm very excited to see where this path is going to take you, Reverend Diane. So let's bathe her in love.
We have a full day here.
Yeah, we got a lot here today.
Yes,
so.
Congratulations.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. So a couple of other things have happened since we last saw you. Some big things, right? In Las Vegas, some big, big things. But what we know about those things is that no matter what, that presence and power that we call God, that we call Source, that we call life, is always there. And we don't get to say that it's not there on any occasion. It is there. So what we know today is that we bring that infusion of love from our consciousness and surround it and infuse it in that experience and any other experience that is occurring that seems like maybe God's not there. No, that power and source is always there. There is nothing but God. There is nothing but love. So as we light this candle today, we want to remember that. And we also want to bring attention to this beautiful woman. Her name is Sandra Wilson, and her husband, Bob. Sandra passed from this experience a few months ago, and her husband, Bob, came here to spread her ashes and left the flowers for us to have from that ceremony. Deborah Vandate was their representative from Center for Spiritual Living, and she set up all the spreading of the ashes and the canoes and with Kuma's saber kauka and everything. So we just want to remember Sandra today too as we take this moment of silence and her beautiful husband, Bob. All right, so let's just take a moment to just remember that God is all there is, no matter what, in and through everything. And in this moment, I just recognize the one power, the one life, the one spirit, the one love. And I know that it is who and what we are. It is infused in our very being, and that we express it to the highest level at all times, bringing that love and that peace to every experience that we experience and that this world experiences, knowing that we can be a comfort, we can be a light, we can be that love and lift others up when that is needed because of who and what we are and because of our connection in that one mind, that one spirit, that one life. So I just let this all be giving gratitude for each and every one of us, giving love to Sandra, to Bob, to all the souls of Las Vegas and all the people affected by it who are our connection. It's us. We're all connected. So I just let this be so, as I say, and so it is. Thank you. Let's take another deep breath. We are the light bearers. That's why we're here, all of us. Just remember that. And so, welcome again to Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai, where we practice the science of mind and spirit, which I'm going to have you turn around right now because there's a beautiful man on the wall there.
Oh.
That was
new member.
Yeah, a new member. That was given to us as a beautiful manifestation of his creativity, Rob Jones. Yes.
Nice work, Rob.
And why I'm mentioning this now, too, is because Ernest Holmes, if you don't know who he was, we don't worship him, but he is the one that founded the science of mind and spirit and also brought together all the teachings. He was a great learner, and that's why we put him in the bookstore, because he was a great learner and synthesizer of truths from all the different faiths and religions. He left school when he was 14 or 15 years old and said, I don't want to be in school anymore. Sorry if there's any kids out there, don't listen to me. I want to be a learner of life, and he went out and was really basically self-taught, and then brought us the science of mind and spirit as a synthesis of all the things that he learned. So now there he is in our bookstore, thanks to Rob Jones. So, Rob. Yeah.
Did a great job.
So what does science of mind and spirit teach? Just one thing, that God is all there is. No matter what. We can't step off principle in any occasion. God is all there is, and it is in and through everything, no matter what we're experiencing. And the more that we can reveal that in our own minds, the more we'll see it in the world. Do you get it? The more we see it in our own minds is the more we see it in the world, because we all live in one mind, one power, one light, one love. And that's basically the simplicity of the science of mind and spirit. And as Barbara Waterhouse, who we'll talk about later a little bit more, where we came from on our retreat, said, if we name it, we claim it. If we know it, we grow it. I think that was the way she said it. If we name it, we claim it. So what are we naming? And what are we claiming? And what are we knowing? Basically, that's what we're growing. So, hey, if we look out in the world, we see we have a little ways to go. But we have to start somewhere, right? We have to start right where we are. So basically, that's the science of mind in a nutshell.
And we could actually do that right here, right now, if
Right.
we chose to. That's the beauty of it. And I see a lot of new faces. I see a lot of faces that are now new, again, because it's always a new moment, right? But I would like to, this is Bring a Friend Sunday, and we're always bringing our friends, but it's fun to do a Sunday on it. If you were here for the very first time, they're going to take you back for the dance number rehearsal, and you'll be here at the, no, what it is that we would like to just know who you are, because we already do, but could you please raise your hand and just say, oh, there you go. Who's here for the first time? First time. There we go, young man. There we go.
Did you get a little packet and a shell lay?
Yes, you
if
did.
you didn't, we want to make sure you do.
So
Okay.
this is, now that you've identified yourself, we have something to say about you. We've got some information, and we'd like to share it with the entire congregation. You don't mind, do you? No, I didn't think so. Okay, shall we do this together? Let them know. Yeah. You are magnificent. Yes. You are magnificent, but I guess you knew that, right, already? That's why you weren't afraid for us to say it, yeah. But you know what? Here's the good news. It doesn't belong just to you. We knew are magnificent. Wow, it's like a script. I gave them lines, and they, so let's all say it together. I am magnificent. Good to be home. So behind there were Rob, the wonderful artist that made that picture and so many more beautiful ones. The painting is that there's some people watching, and there's probably new people now because we just got back from that retreat, and everyone wants to know what we're all about because we were out there bragging about us. That's what we were doing. And there's a whole bunch of people that just every Sunday really honor, and they really honor this center. So let's tell them who they are, shall we? Right in the camera. You are magnificent. Now, now look to your left, to your right. Just tell somebody who they are. You're magnificent. I know you two. Oh, no. Oh, hello, Mr. Magnificent.
You are magnificent.
My flight attendant.
You are magnificent,
You
Harry.
are magnificent. I'm glad we got to meet. We'll meet. Yeah.
You're magnificent.
Yeah. Who's that? You're.
I'm the prayer today, so just give me a nod. I'm meant to do the opening prayer.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure.
All right.
Okay, let's take all that magnificence
Let's
and rise it up for our opening song. Woo!
Love is all there is, right here wide open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, we're right here, love always, always. Love is all there is, right here wide open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, we're right here, love always, always. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is.
And knowing that love is all there is, and every moment. We could stop there, but we're not going to. Because what I know is that there is something really powerful happening right here, right now. And it's working through each and every one of us. It's this thing called God. It's this thing called good. It's this thing called life force. It's this thing that doesn't care what we call it. Because it is everything. And it is working through us as love. There is not a place, not a time, not a space that love doesn't exist. It is who you are, it's who I am, it is through everything. It's the very ground in which I am standing on. The carpet is God, yes. So go ahead and spill on it, my friends. Because it doesn't matter, I'm kidding. So what I know, though, in my deepest of my heart, is that our hearts have been opened right here and right now in this moment called now. And it is expressing, and it is going out. It does not stay in this room. It goes through this service, this divine appointment that we have come together to serve this planet with love, to serve our wonderful brothers and sisters that were in Vegas, that are still right here in this room in the absolute energy of God. They are not gone. There is only life. There is no death. There is only life. There is only life. There is only life. And we celebrate that right here and right now. And I celebrate you. I celebrate me. I celebrate this service. I celebrate life. Take a nice deep breath. That breath is the breath of good, and it breathes through you in every moment. So let's celebrate it like we have never celebrated before. As together we say, and so it is.
Love is all there is, right here and wide open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, we're right here in love always, always. Love is all there is, right here and wide open. Love is all there is, I'm here to be open. Love is all there is, we're right here in love always, always. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is.
Love is. Thank you, Maria.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Peggy Price, and I've had the joy and privilege of being a guest here in these beautiful islands. We've been here for the last almost 6 months, and our time here is kind of coming to a close, and so I've got those mixed feelings right now about all of that, but I'm here today to share a thought with you and to lead us into a meditation. Rita and Patrick's title this morning is Walking Through Fire, and walking through fire takes courage. And walking through fire takes overcoming fear. And these beautiful words of Anne Lamott say it so well. She says, it's good to be afraid when it mobilizes us to fight tooth and nail for what is right, when it pricks the balloon of our complacency, when it gets us back on our feet. A lot of us are both afraid and devoutly faithful at the exact same time, fairly often, for ourselves, our kids, our elderly, our country. But what is true and the exact right thing I need to hear today is that courage is fear that has said its prayers. Courage is fear that has said its prayers. I invite you to just take that into your heart as we take this time to go within. There's a beautiful song that is sometimes sung in Centers for Spiritual Living, and it starts out by saying, "In this very room, there is quite enough love. There's quite enough love to wash away our tears. There's quite enough love to walk through our every fear. Quite enough peace and quite enough power." And that power and that love and that presence is the power, love, and presence of the one we know by many names that I call God, Spirit, Life, Beauty, Wisdom, Peace. It is everywhere present, as Patrick said earlier. It is everywhere present. It is in and through and as all things, including each one of us. For we are expressions of that one. That within us we also have that place where we can pray through any fear, to walk through anything that challenges us, to walk over sometimes in our lives those hot coals that are under our feet. But when we know that courage is fear that has said its prayers, we can walk through anything. So I know that right where we are right now, no matter what may be going on in our lives, no matter what may be going on around us in this world of effects, there is also this world of spirit, this infinite presence, this breath and heartbeat that is who we are, that is our lives, that each of us has that place within us where we have that place of prayer that allows that courage to be revealed even in the midst of a challenge. So we know that right here at this Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai, in this room filled with peacemakers and healing presence, we are the ones, we are the light bearers. We are the ones called to do this deeper inner work. We are the ones that will on some days stand up and do it all perfectly, and on other days we may need each other for prayer and support. But we move through it together as one. And as we do, we move through this universe and this life and this experience as one. There is no possibility of separation from Spirit and each of us. So today we declare this day good and beautiful, filled with light and love and wisdom and peace. We give thanks for every blessing and every experience and every fire walk we have ever had to do ourselves, symbolically or otherwise, for these are all gifts. And with gratitude and love, I simply let these words be. I release them into the mind and heart, love and law of the one God, the one power, as we join together and say, and so it is.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals,
Thank you, Maria Christina. Thank you for just learning that. I called her and wrote her, texted her, whatever I did. And I said, it's a beautiful song we want to share with our congregation. And here it is. And it's a Karen Drucker, Michael Gott song. And I thank them for composing it. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. So thank you for just learning it like that. That's a beautiful thing. So, yeah. I gotta take a breath. This song made me all emotional again because that was a song from our retreat that we went on, our gathering, ministers' gathering. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, last week we were gone because we traveled to North Carolina to be with all the ministers that came from the Center for Spiritual Living all over the world and country to come together for a time of rejuvenating ourselves and replenishing ourselves and getting in contact with each other and sharing with each other. And it was amazing to be with 150 ministers from this teaching all together in one place. And this song had special meaning. And this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for these two beautiful people. Wouldn't have happened in this particular way. Dr. John Waterhouse and his wife, Dr. Barbara Waterhouse, who run the Center for Spiritual Living, Asheville. And for me, I'll let Patrick talk for himself, but for me, I became a student again. And it was so beautiful to be with people that have been, in this teaching for over 30 years, being ministers for over 30 years, as Barbara was, and to see that they stayed true to the science of mind and spirit. In fact, they stood up and said, this center is built on the science of mind and nothing else. Science of mind. And the reason that can happen is because the science of mind is universal. It brings in everything. And yet it's so simple, it's one thing. So it's not about worshiping a religion or something. It's about living from a place of greatness. And they were such a perfect example of that. And they were so much like us, how we will be in the future, because they had their own property, their own building, everything like we see in that vision there was there. So it was so rejuvenating to see that and to know that that was possible. So it was an inspiration to me, a total inspiration. And one of the things we did, and I had forgotten that we were going to do this. In fact, I didn't even remember that we were going to do it because we didn't really have the program at first, was that Dr. John Waterhouse is very much into Native American culture. And one of the things he did was a fire walk. And he took 150 of us on a fire walk. How many of you have ever walked on fire? Oh, good. I've got some. Or jumped from a plane, or, right? It's all the same thing. It's about letting go of fear. And for me, Rita, this was a really big deal because I have a lot of fears that way in the physical thing. I don't know if I could jump from a plane, even after what I did on this thing. But so he made it sure that we knew it was a choice. We weren't hypnotized. We didn't do it because he wanted us to do it. We didn't do it because, that we were going to be less than if we didn't do it. In fact, he let us know that if we didn't do it, that was a choice, that we needed to make the choice to walk on the fire. We needed to see what the fire said to us when we stood in front of it. Should we walk or should we not? Because if we walked for any other reason besides that choice, then more than likely we'd get burned. And he let us know that. And he told us stories about people that had, and it was like great. Okay, he kept us in terror for 2 hours. And yet he was such a presence of peace and love and great consciousness that he kept us in faith the whole time too. And he had us make these little prayer bags, and you were talking about prayer in your quote, so that we would be prayed up, each of us individually. So we made these little prayer bags that we took with us and wore around our necks. So I didn't still know if I was going to walk or not, because I was like, I'm not going to know, because I did not want to do it for the wrong reason. I didn't want to do it because of my ego or of any of those reasons. I wanted to do it because it was the right thing for me to do. So I waited, and I was the third person across. I was right behind Ken Gordon. Anyway, so, no, really, I waited through the whole 2-hour process before it, or an hour and a half, whatever he took us through, to know. And I never knew until I stood in front of the actual fire, because he had us build it, and he made us stand close to it, because he was like, I want you to see how hot this is. And so we made a stand there while, I mean, we built it. We put the logs down. We did the whole thing. Then he lit the whole thing with some kind of kerosene or something, and it blew it all up. And we were like, he goes, feel it. I want you to know how hot this is. He wanted us to know. And so after we lit the fire, we went inside and made those prayer bags and everything. But I still didn't know if I was going to walk it. I was getting scared by the moment, more scared. So, yeah. So what happened for me when I stood in front of that fire and realized that I was going to walk it, I realized that this was the time to prove to myself that I was spirit. And I actually let go of the idea of getting burnt. I didn't care. Like, it was like, I don't care. So what? What's the worst could happen? I could burn my feet. That's the worst that could happen. The best that could happen is I could prove to myself that spirit is all there is. And while we were walking, everybody walking this thing, 150 people, I don't know if everybody walked or not, and nobody really knew that because there was no shame put on us or anything. We sang this song, There Is Only Love, to each other while we were walking across. I know, it was like such a buoy up. So I took my step and I just walked. And I'm telling you, I did not feel one thing. I did not feel one thing. So I you know, what is that? What it is that you're not supposed to be able to do that. You're not supposed to be able to walk across a bed of hot coals and not get burnt. But that's the world of form. And that's what he wanted us to know. That's the world of form. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish in this life because we are spirit, and spirit is greater than anything. It's greater because it's the purity and the essence of who we are. It's what we are. We have never been touched by anything because we are spirit. So the world of form is just an experience. And it's real. We don't say it's not real. Cancer is real, fires are real, all these things are real. What happened in Las Vegas is real, but there's something greater than that that's infused in all that, and we trust it. I have to trust it and know that there's a journey that we're all on, and I can't step back far enough to know those people's journey in Las Vegas or any place else in any other country where things are happening. I can't step back because I know that we're all on an eternal journey, and we're all going on that journey in our own way and with our own consciousness, and the only thing that we're doing is expanding all the time. We don't go backward. We expand, we embody more of spirit. And if anything, proved it to me. Not that I needed proof, but I had to prove it to myself maybe. Walking that fire did. And Ernest Holmes wrote, we must know that we know. We must know that we know. Do you know that you know? Take that into your meditation about anything in your life. We must know that we know. We must demonstrate. This is what this teaching is about. We must demonstrate that spiritual thought force, now that's not willpower, that's the force of spirit that's within us, has power over all material resistance. And this cannot be done unless we have abounding confidence to the principle which we approach. So that's about faith, right? We have to have faith. I had to stand in front of that fire and have faith that I could walk and be okay because I'm spirit. Spiritual thought force has power over all apparent material resistance. And I know we've all had healings in our life. I've had plenty of healings in my life. We heard about an amazing one today from Tommy. This spirit that we're talking about, that we are, doesn't know anything but perfection. That's all it knows. Anything in our life that we're experiencing that isn't what we want to experience, we can change. We can change because we have the power of our minds. It's through us. It's incarnated in us. We can do whatever we choose to do. Choose. We have to choose it. We have to make a decision. So there's obstacles sometimes, right? In the fire walk, there's the coals. In life, Dr. Peggy was talking about, there's obstacles. Do we choose to look at the obstacles, or do we choose to live the truth? Are we focused on the obstacles? And when you do these fire walks, you do not look at the coals. You do not look at the coals. You do not look at the obstacles. If you were to look at the obstacles in your life, and we all have, you get dragged into them. That's what I feel like. I mean, I'm pretty versed in this teaching as far as I live it. I live it to the best of my ability at all times, and I still get dragged in. And that's why I was so grateful to go on this trip, because I was able to lift myself out again, because I've been letting myself get dragged into things. You know, getting dragged into the news and thinking that's all there is, getting dragged into what people say, getting dragged into the little minutia of life, getting dragged into the idea that, you know, this is this and that is that. You look at your bank account and you're dragged into the amount that's in there. You know, you're dragged into every ache and pain that you have. Are you looking at the obstacles, or are you looking at the truth, which is your spirit? So you don't look down. Instead, you're looking at the person at the other end. And at the other end for me was Dr. John and Patrick. And you're looking at them, and what do they represent? They represent the truth. They represent the focus, the goal, the purpose, the dream, whatever it is. They represent that, and that's what you're focused on. That's what you're knowing. That's what you're focused on. It's such a great metaphor. But we can do it. We don't have to walk on fire to do it. God, we have enough fire. As Dr. Peggy said, we got enough fire to walk on now. But who's going to do it if we don't? Who's going to lift those people up in Las Vegas and these million other things that have happened if we don't? If we're getting stuck in, you know, what certain people aren't doing in our government and all this crap, that we're getting stuck in the obstacles instead of knowing the truth. So this was a powerful experience to me. And what I got out of it, like I said, is spirit is all there is. Love is all there is. And Ernest Holmes wrote that truth known demonstrates immediately. Sometimes we feel like we have to go through a process, but truth known demonstrates immediately. So when I stood in front of that fire, truth was known and it demonstrated immediately. I walked to the other end. I don't always do that in my life. Sometimes I feel like I have to go through a process, and I work on it, and I work to know the truth, and I go to another practitioner, or I work in my meditation and my contemplation. That's all about the process, and that process is fine. But I don't feel like I have a whole lot of time for process anymore. So I don't know about anybody here, and what I mean by that is like getting caught in my own minutia, right? Instead of looking to the truth and being the truth and embodying the truth and working on myself, because that's the place that it starts. And that's what I love about this workshop that we're going to do in a few weeks, is because it's about us. It's about, people say that that's selfish to think about yourself, or that you love yourself, or I'm magnificent and all that. Not anybody in this room, but we're brought up that way, right? You shouldn't think so much about yourself, whatever. Get off it. You're great. You're magnificent. You're amazing. For God's sakes, like Ernest Holmes said, what could be greater than a divine idea of God? That's what we are. We're incarnates of spirit. And when we know that, we can do anything. If we believe, Ernest said, that the spirit is incarnated in us, can we demonstrate? Shall we be disturbed at what appears? We can demonstrate, he said. Shall we be disturbed at what appears to contradict us? If we really knew, we would not be disturbed at what appears to contradict us. We would know we have work to do. We would know we need to be a light. We would know that we need to help now. We need to do this because we have the strength to do it. We can't wallow in the ditch with people. We have to be there for them and lift them up and help them. So, what a week. And I think we're going to be talking about it all week. It's about the courageous heart this month. And I thank Reverend Diane for launching that off with her talk last week about taking that first step. Because, yeah, we all need to take that first step, and we need to start where we are. We don't need to feel bad if we're experiencing something in our lives and it's not all that. But I'm going to tell you, whatever it is, you can overcome it. I've overcome things. I meet people every day that overcome many things in their life that came from nothing, that came from abuse, that came from, drug addiction, all this kind of stuff, and they overcame it because they realized who they were. You can't overcome it if you don't know who you are, because then you're going to be trying to fix outside conditions. You're going to be trying to fix the coals and make them not so hot, or, all that stuff, and you can't do that. It has to come from here. So, in conclusion, I'm just going to read this quote again and just invite us all to just, at this month of the courageous heart, to go into our own hearts and to really live from that place, to live our dreams, to know that anything's possible, to know there's nothing greater than who we are and who each of us are, and look out from that place at each and every person and remind them if they need to be reminded. We must know that we know. We must demonstrate that spiritual thought force has power over all, not some, all apparent material resistance. And this cannot be done unless we have abounding confidence to the principle which we approach. And that principle is that God is all there is. And so it is. Thank you. Wonderful. I love you. Thank you for making this my home.
You lift us up when this world can feel so crazy, and hold us down while it's all blowing away. Who cares for you while you're giving everything? What can one really ever do? Do I seem weak when all I wanna do is lay down at your lotus feet? How can I ever pretend you're merely a divine friend? So much more you are. Oh, now I'm so grateful you've come behind a veil of humbleness, shining brighter than the sun, healing all cares and misery in divine arms, completely at home right where we've been all along. In your arms I feel so free. Finally I'm where I've always wanted to be. Here in your arms where everything's clean. Thank you for blessing me to always be here in your arms. Lover of all precious ones, no matter what they've done. In your arms, I feel so free. Finally, I'm where I've always wanted to be. Here in your arms, where everything's clean. Thank you for blessing me to always be. In your arms, I feel so free. Finally, I'm where I've always wanted to be. Here in your arms, where everything's clean. Thank you for blessing me to always be here in your arms.
Yes. Well, she's talked all about the fire. But you know, I'll always have a few stories here and there. Y'all. Oh, gosh, it was such a y'all kind of trip. And I just loved it. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Vacation? Vacation's when you buy a tree and you're sipping a little Mai Tai. Oh, that's here. Oh. Yeah, I have to say it really did us good to get away for a moment. Sometimes you're so busy doing and making things and growing things that you forget about really what's growing inside of you, and that there's a responsibility you have when you are a leader. We're all leaders in our own way, but nevertheless, for us, this was all about leaders coming together. But I was really glad to get home. And I remember thinking of that song, Home from the Wiz. Does anyone remember? It's the takeoff of, you know, The Wizard of Oz, but cooler, you know? But I was thinking of what Glenda, the good witch, said about home. Home is a place we all must find, child. It's not just a place where you eat or sleep. Home is knowing your mind, knowing your heart, knowing your courage. If we know ourselves, we're always home, anywhere. And that's something I have always felt, and this is our home. And when we touched down, I just went, wow, we're home. But I realized that I had been at home when I was in North Carolina as well, because wherever I am, there I am. And it was interesting to get together, and you would think, oh, we're with like-minded, but once again, that proves to be silly. Because that's not, everyone is the unique individual expression of this thing called spirit. But what happened to me is, I'll tell briefly about the fire, because I was not third. I was second to last. You know I was making my decision. And then I was watching everybody going, nobody was getting burnt, so I was like, there might be something to this whole spirit thing going on, right? So, what can we say, right? But what I got from it was exactly what Rita was talking about, is that stop looking at the fire. Stop looking at that. And she was at the end, and I was there, and I went, and I had this moment. Oh, I had a really beautiful moment. Reverend Brian Akers was there. And I could hear my little kid, because I'm into my inner child thing, saying to me, "What are you doing? You promised me all that abuse stuff was over. What are you doing?" "We're just going to walk a little fire. What are you doing?" And I couldn't go, and Brian came up to me, and he hugged me in a way that was so powerful. And he's like, "Brother, come on. Do what you need to do." But I could feel his energy. And I could feel, and that was the other thing, all those 150 people, focusing on, let's get him across the fire. And it wasn't like I was breaking down or anything. It wasn't like I was, I'll never be able to go, I was feeling that, but I wasn't. So I got myself, and I walked like I've never, my chest is kind of big anyway, but it was like, whoa. And I was just like, and so I wish that they had captured my face, because I'm sure it was like holding breath the whole time. And so what I got from this whole experience of walking across fire is that, what would I possibly be afraid of? It's just plain stupid to walk on fire. Think about it. I wasn't raised when I got out, soon you'll grow to walk across fire. My mama told me not to touch the stove, let alone walk on it. So I knew what was going on. And then I had that was my experience, but I just had that feeling. And I remember thinking, if I don't do this, there's going to be so much more pain in the morning. With TMZ. We're back. And so the whole idea is that I knew that I would be not disappointed. Let's not pretend about the ego thing. Everyone's like, no ego is involved. There was a lot of ego involved. It was like, and then our spiritual director was like, when he did his little talk, he was laughing, he goes, and then they looked at us and they said, the people that didn't walk were lower in consciousness than the one, but he was joking. And so, but that's what you think. I don't care. He was only saying what we were all thinking. Like, if I don't walk it, will everyone think I'm not as spiritual as they are? I mean, that's the ego in there. Yeah. But my real revelation was when Barbara Waterhouse got up for 12 minutes and she spoke about the responsibility we have as leaders to walk on fire. And I really took it serious. Two things. Why me? How come when she's up there, none of this occurs? I don't understand. But anyway, I'm whining. Stop. And what she was up there, and she was talking about the responsibility that we have. And she was talking to the ministers, and the congregation had been invited as well. But I've had a second coming for me. because I realized how in love I am with this teaching. Not Ernest Holmes, not all of the mystics, I love them too, but how in love to the very, very bottom of my heart. And there's no bottom. That's the great news. How much I fell in love again with science of mind and spirit, and how I agree with her on many of her points, and that is, we have not the luxury of pretending we are not who we are. And that got very, very powerful for me. How can I stand here and say good is all there is, God is all there is, and then pretend that I'm not? The thing about crossing the fire that I got, it had nothing to do with being put in a trance. It had nothing to do with peyote. I mean, not that it was there, I was just saying. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. It comes down to something we were talking about all last month. It comes down to a decision. You're either going to walk the fire or you're not. You're either going to walk your talk or you're not. And I went, wow. Even though she was talking to the ministers and speaking directly to us, she was saying, we don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury to be pissed off at Donald Trump and expect.
Luxury.
What?
That's no luxury.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm doing the talk right now, just so you'll know. That I usually love the participation, but today I am very, very, very moved by what happened to me on this trip, and I really want to share it with you. Are you in with me? Yes. Yeah, thanks. Because there's no anger that happened there, but there was that thing I say the most, but we're not kidding anymore. I have said it many times. It isn't about the luxury of being mad or anything else. That isn't what I was talking about. All the time that I take pretending I'm not me and being all caught up in the gossiping and that this isn't working and this is working and this isn't, I am losing all my ability to love. Love. This is great stuff. And she was, like I said, talking to the ministers. But she's talking to everybody. I don't have the luxury anymore to say, oh, they're not ready yet. I don't have the luxury to say, oh, we're not at that consciousness yet. That is an outright lie. Every single person in this room has all the consciousness that they need to do anything that they want in their life. We've all been through it. I've been through poverty. I've been through abuse. I've been through it all, and I'm not going, ooh, hallelujah, Patrick, but I'm saying, you bet. I had consciousness that brought me through it. And this is a time in our lives that only love matters. And I have to work on it every moment. It isn't something that we get to have just because I woke up today and then my next opportunity. I love what she was talking about. Truth is truth, man. You don't get to, I have a friend that always says, I'll be right back, I'm going off principle. I'll be right back, I'm just going to go talk about how I really feel, now I'm going to get back on the principle. All it means is when we don't, when we're not on principle, when we're not in love, to get back on it. To get back on it. I was so moved by the experience that I had because I knew I was coming home. And I knew I didn't have the luxury anymore to not stand in complete light. We're the light bearers. When that happened in Vegas, it was Monday morning, and I'm like, oh, we're at the ministers' gathering, and then I look down at that and I'm like, really? That's what I said, really? And I said, oh my God, we know Carrie, and then I stopped. I knew every one of those people. Every single one of them. And guess what that did for me? That allowed me the strength to come in and say, because I was at that place saying, oh, can this be again? And blah, 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 and what's our government doing? And, all of the stuff that I was going to for a moment ago. And I went, oh, I think I have a loud voice. Sorry. Hello. I'm so powerful.
Hello?
Here, you got a battery. And so really, I hope that you're understanding that this is coming from a place of passion. This is coming from a place of love. But what moved me was I had went there with the idea of raising the bar for myself, for this center. I love this center with every fiber. But we're not an Elks Club and we're not a Moose Lodge. And the food isn't always the best in the world. But guess what? We don't have the luxury anymore in this world that is calling for all the lights to come forth. And if anyone knows, I hear it on this island all the time, but we must take it past the talk. We must walk, and it doesn't mean suffering. So what I knew about this entire experience is that I have an obligation as a leader, I don't get to say, not today. There are people on this island killing themselves, literally. I don't have the opportunity to say, maybe they're not ready, or don't use the word Center for Spiritual Living because it might offend you. We have a wonderful teen program starting here, and I do know within my heart that a lot of the reasons people aren't coming is because it's a Center for Spiritual Living, and then people are scared, and that's okay. But I don't have the luxury of pretending I'm something I'm not. We are a teaching and we are a community that says we are love. Get with the program. We are responsible for everything that occurs in our lives. And if we don't like that, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I know. I'm in love again with the teaching that says you are God. That there was not a moment that ever exists that you are not God, and that you can take that out into the world. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, what would you be against a philosophy that says you're everything? I had an idea in the mind of God, and I attached your name to it. This divine source that is breathing me right now, that's knocking out mics at this time, is saying, I had an idea, man. What do you need? What could you possibly need except to believe it, to accept it, to love ourselves enough, to say, I will be all the love. And so they say, well, what happens when somebody's down? So we're just supposed to luxury ourselves? No, I'm talking about being a leader. I don't have the luxury to say, well, let's decrease the money on these things because they don't have enough. What the heck would that be? What I know about you is that you're everything, that you are unlimited, that you are the rich heirs to this thing called life. And I'm not backing down. And if it clears half the room, I'll hear from Rita. Because she'll say, why'd you go up with yours? And, thank you. We're on to something, folks. We are on to something so powerful. And just to think it's been here the entire time. So whatever you're going through, please don't hear this, because I don't want to hear it out there when I'm standing. Please hear this. This isn't about get over it. What it's about is whatever's going on in your life, there is a rope in that quicksand that all you have to do is ask for it. We may not bypass all of this stuff with the physical, but until you know you are spirit first, we will suffer. We will suffer if the first thing that comes to my mind is it's only human. I'm going to let you know it's a very big catchphrase of just being human. No, you're not. You're experiencing being human. You're not human. That's the experience. That's the costume. You're the divine spirit. You are love personified. And if you don't leave with anything today, because I'll stand up here till 10:30 if I have to. I'm just kidding. I want you to really take a moment right now and close your eyes if you choose, or leave them wide open. There is something so powerful going on in this room today. There is a life, a spirit that says, I love you. You have nothing to be afraid of. You can walk on fire. You can walk on water. You can do anything because of who and what you are. That heart is breathing and beating to a tune called Spirit. I love you. You are love. Let us go light the world from this place. Namaste.
Before we do our giving, can we just sing the chorus of love one more time?
Oh,
all
sure.
right. Do you mind? I should have warned
at
you,
all.
but just the chorus. Let's just sing it together.
Toot, toot.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you.
I love you.
Remember that all week long. So, this is our time of making an investment in this center. I learned that term in North Carolina, and I really like that idea because we're building this center together, and we have been building it. We watched them, which was like such a great inspiration to us. They built this center, and they now have their own property. They have it all because they built it together. So just know that's what we're doing today as we give here is we're building this center together. And everything counts. Doesn't matter what it is. A penny counts. A dollar counts. All of it counts. And those big bills count too. But it all counts. And so as we remember that, and as Patrick and I are just so grateful, and we're just grateful to all of you. Let's read this investment affirmation that
Which
I
is
learned.
new, I believe,
Yes,
so
we learned it there.
in case you think
we just
I
made
do
a
it by
couple of
rote.
slight adjustments to it.
I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love
as it touches and blesses Center for Spiritual Living Kauai, my life and the world. And so it is. I love that. Giving from our overflowing wealth. So let's sing our song.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude Gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
Gratefulness, overflowing, that abundance, that is the abundance of spirit, that is never ending, that is unlimited. And these gifts, as we give thanks for them, are a demonstration, an outer demonstration of our inner awareness of that abundant flow. That we are knowing right now that we bless every hand that brought those gifts to us. And in so knowing that, and so blessing that, we bless the world as these gifts go forth to bless this center, the community, the world, and ourselves. And so with love and gratitude, we give thanks and simply say, and so it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Peggy. Okay, we have a few things to do. First, we have the kids. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh.
Yeah. Since you were there. Oh my goodness, we have
There you are.
some new faces. Yay,
How
and
you doing?
we got George, who mentored the
There's
kids
George.
today.
There he is.
Oh,
And we
whoa,
have this-
and we have Malia. Oh, we got lots of kids today. You know, we set an intention to have kids, and look at this. It's amazing.
Uh-oh.
Everett used to be all by himself, and now he's got all these
Right,
friends.
Everett?
Yay! Oh, this is beautiful. So do they want to say anything?
I think Ruby wants to say something. Ruby?
You get the mic.
What I did is we did some
Wait, you got to talk into that.
yeah, okay, we did some rainbows, and then I had them design their own religion. So so Ruby's going to show you.
Oh, this is awesome.
So he made this one. He really masterpiece. Beckham. Yeah, sure. My new religion. In my new religion, we're all nice to each other. We respect each other. It's hard to get everyone on one side, but at least here at this lovely church, we can all here at this lovely church, as a community, we can help this religion and all be respectful. Thank you for listening. It means a lot.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, anything else?
I don't know. Anybody else?
Okay, so we have something special that we're going to do today for you guys. We're going to do a blessing, and we're going to get to do it as a congregation. Yes. Another thing we got from where we were, again, we changed the words, but we do it. So we're all going to put our hands up in the air and love these kids, and we're going to say, you are perfect.
You are perfect.
You are amazing.
You are amazing.
You are magnificent.
You are magnificent.
We love you.
We
Love you. And so it is.
so it is.
Woo! Thank you. So, yeah. Hey, Malia, you are magnificent.
She said, what's going on here? Yeah, she's got that like, where y'all going?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have something special, which are our practitioners and ministers of this center, and I want them all to come forward.
There we go. Well, now we have a new religion, so they can all come back now and reveal.
Yeah, I want them all here. We've got Malia and Roseanne, Reverend Diane, and Deborah and Rob, and Patrick and myself. This is amazing to be a 4-year-old center and have all this beauty up here. And these guys are not ornaments on a tree. No, I got that message. We're not ornaments on a tree just sitting here going, oh, I'm so great, blah, blah, blah. No, these are people who live this teaching, who have brought their consciousness to a level that they can know the truth for others. And that is what revealing health, prosperity, wealth, all these things, creativity, relationships is about. It's about revealing who we are. So they can know that truth when we don't know it for ourselves. And that's what they're going to be doing up here. So those that can stay up here, I don't know how many can, but however many can. But they're not going to sit down because this is not a session. This is just knowing the truth. If you want a session, you can set up an appointment with them and you can have a session and pay for their fees, because they do have that. They're licensed practitioners and they hold a license in with Center for Spiritual Living. But right now you get a free gift. So if you would like that free gift, which will be them, I'm Dr. Peggy, of knowing the truth for you, you can come up and stand with any one of them. And they don't care, just choose the one you want, and know the truth with them. And it'll be very painless. They'll just ask you what you need to know right now. And it might be, I need to know that I'm going to get this job that I want. I need to know that my bank account's not real. I need to know I need to know that I'm perfect health. I need to know that I'm perfect wealth. I need to know that my brother is healed. I need whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's individual. So that's it. So I want to let you know that's available. They're going to stay up here for the closing song though, and then you can go. Do you need to go back to the camera right now? Okay, good. All right. So that, and then there's always the practitioner's box in the back that you can put a request in for something that you need to know. And that is it. So Patrick and I will not be standing up here, though. We will be in the back of the room greeting you all.
Before we close, do you know how wonderful you are? Yeah.
So grateful. Woo!
You're great.
So great.
Oh,
yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
All righty.
All right. I think we're ready. Ready? All right. Let's do
Ready.
it. I don't think we need this up here. Well, no, we need something. Okay, ready? We know this song.
Go ahead and stand up. It's all about the heart today.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating His word. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through.
And so what I know in this moment, and in every moment, is that God is all there is. Love is all there is. And it is demonstrated, manifested, and expressed through each and every person here, through all of us. We are the consciousness of love, the consciousness of God. And I'm so grateful to know that, and grateful to have been here today with all of these amazing minds, all of these amazing beings, and all the people that served today I want to give special thanks to. And that would be our beautiful Malama team of Louise, Sabina, and Deborah Valentina. And am I missing somebody on that team? Is everybody, that's it, right? Okay, and the practitioner of the day, Dr. Peggy Price, thank you very much. And Rob Jones, thank you for constantly bringing us, and well, he's right here. And Jonathan, who took over for him back there and also runs our sound, thank you so much. To our hospitality team that was led by Elizabeth Diamond today, and Kurt and Maria, I believe, were back there, and I don't know who else, but whoever they were, I thank them, and I send a special blessing to Ron Stover, who wasn't feeling well, but set it all up anyway. Thank you, mahalo, mahalo. And to Bob and Sandra Wilson for giving us our flowers today, and Peter and Arlena, thank you for the flowers. Thank you for beautifying the center. To the bookstore, to Roseanne Jones, thank you to Rob for the beautiful painting. To Maria Christina and Luis for the music today. To the youth, Janice Perez, who runs the youth program, and George Dempsey, mahalo, mahalo, and a special congratulations to Reverend Diane for ordination. Yay! Thankful, grateful to have all this amazing consciousness, all of you here in this center. So I know that consciousness is manifested as something great in this world, in form, as we go from here and we bring all this energy with us and all this love with us and start to see it manifested in our lives and in the lives of those around us that we get to be lights to. I know that's the truth, and speaking this truth, I'm grateful for it. I accept it as the truth with gratitude in my heart, and I just release this word into a law that says yes to me, that says yes, go at it, have it all. And I accept that for all of us as we affirm together, and so it is.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating is one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Oh, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through.
Hey, hey. You are welcome. All right.